Most people think confidence is something you can simply manifest through positive self talk. They think confidence comes from hype or willpower or convincing yourself you're capable. But that's not really how confidence works. Real confidence is mostly about memory. Your brain predicts future success based on previous repetition. And once you understand that, the way you practice completely changes. One of the biggest lies in sports culture is this idea that confidence is just believing in yourself hard enough. You hear things like, just be confident, think positive, tell yourself you can do it. But if confidence were just positive thinking, then everybody could perform under pressure just by saying motivational quotes in the mirror. But that's obviously not true because deep down, your brain doesn't really care what you say. Your brain cares about evidence, and your nervous system is constantly trying to predict outcomes. That's one of the primary jobs of the brain. It takes previous experiences, previous repetitions, previous results, and it uses them to predict what's most likely to happen next. So if you've executed thousands of quality shots, your brain starts expecting success. Not because you forced confidence, but because your subconscious has seen the pattern over and over again. This is why elite shooters often look so calm under pressure. It's not that they feel no nerves, it's that their brain has an enormous database of successful repetition stored subconsciously, and their nervous system recognizes the success. This is where people misunderstand confidence completely. Confidence is not an emotion first, confidence is a prediction. Your brain is essentially asking, based on everything I've experienced before, what are the odds that this goes well? And your training answers that question. If your practice has been inconsistent, emotional, frustrated, constantly changing form, constantly panicking, your brain stores that as well. The subconscious doesn't only remember success, it remembers instability. This is why people can physically have the skill to shoot well, but mentally feel so fragile because their repetition history is chaotic. One day they shoot great, the next day they completely melt down. Then they change their release, they change their anchor, and they panic and shoot 300 arrows a day trying to fix themselves. But what they're actually doing is teaching the brain unpredictability, and the brain hates unpredictability. When the subconscious doesn't trust the pattern, confidence disappears. This is also why blank bell training is so powerful. A lot of people think blank bell is just for beginners. It's not. Blank bell removes outcome anxiety and allows the nervous system to focus entirely on clean execution. You're building stable motor patterns without the emotional interference of aiming and scoring. And every clean repetition becomes another piece of evidence stored in the subconscious. One perfect shot does not mess up confidence, but thousands of controlled repetitions, that changes your nervous system. This is important because people confuse emotional intensity with productive practice. They think if practice feels emotional or intense, it must be valuable. But that's not necessarily true. The brain learns from consistency far more than intensity. I've seen this in competition over and over. The shooters who survive pressure the best usually aren't the ones trying the hardest in the moment. They're the ones whose subconscious has seen success so many times the execution feels familiar. And under pressure, the conscious mind wants certainty. But certainty doesn't come from motivation, it comes from accumulated evidence. So if you want real confidence, stop chasing confidence directly. Start building evidence, build repetition, build consistency, build stable execution, because eventually your subconscious starts saying, I've done this before. I recognize this. I know this pattern. And when your brain starts to trust its previous experiences, that's where real confidence is born.